Welcome back, and let's continue with the second applied market research topic, which is earmarked for this week. We will now talk about concept testing. What is a concept? And we all know the English word concept. What is a concept in market research? So I have an idea in my mind. I have an idea that if I start a new kind of website which allows people to log on and create their own personal profile and then use it to find a market researcher online. Crazy idea. That's my concept. I have a concept that if I can create a pen which actually improves my handwriting, it corrects the handwriting mistakes that I make. That's a new concept. A concept is therefore the idea for the new product or the service. It could be a radically new product or a service. As in, I have a concept that says, you know what, you have got this new device which you put in your pocket. Then you sit in one place and you meditate and you say, I want to be in London, and this device will, take you to London in such a way that you can see whatever is happening. Okay, your body doesn't go there. It takes you, you can see whatever is happening, and then you can come back to wherever you are. I'm just giving a crazy example, but it could be a radically new concept like that, or it could be something like, so far you have been using you have been using mobile phones, you have been using tabs, you have been using laptops. I have got a concept for a product which which you can slide and collapse. So like collapsing gates and all that we see in some houses, you can collapse it into something which you can keep in your pocket, and then you can expand it, and then you can use it like a full screen laptop, or you can collapse it into something small, or expand it just a little bit and use it like a mobile and keep it in your pocket. Now that is an improvement on the existing technology, right? So, a new concept can be an improved technical method to deliver an existing benefit. That is the word I was looking for. An improved way to deliver a benefit which is already existing. Like we have given a hypothetical example of a mosquito repellent. Mosquito repellents exist. There used to be mosquito coils, there were mosquito mats, and there are those electric things. There are many kinds of mosquito repellents. So somebody gives a new technology for a better mosquito repellent, right? That is a new concept. If somebody thinks of a new technology, that's a concept. When somebody actually develops a technology, that's a product. When somebody thinks of the new technology, that's a concept. Or it can be something that delivers a new benefit which nobody has thought of before. Like I just talked about, you sit in one place, but your mind goes to London, you can actually see whatever is happening in London. That's something which doesn't exist today, right? Can we say it is impossible? I personally think it's impossible. But maybe science will find a way sometime. So if somebody thinks of such a method, that's a new concept in such a way that it's a new benefit itself. So new concept itself can be of different kinds, right? So we talk about how do you research a concept? How do you find out if I develop this concept into a product, will it succeed in the market? Is there enough interest in this concept that I'm thinking of that I should spend more effort and develop it into a product? So people think of a concept, people know that they have the technical skills to deliver that product. Before they even spend the time and the money to develop the product, they say sometimes, I want to check out the concept itself. Only if it will work, I will go ahead and spend some money and effort behind it to develop the product out of it, right? So will my concept work is what new concept research is about. Now, when does a new product succeed? Let's start with that. A new product succeeds, a new product, not concept. It attracts a large number of new trials. We saw this in brand health as well. Trial, if you remember, and adoption percentage. So new concept succeeds when a large number of people try it, and a large proportion of those triers stay with it. Therefore, adoption. Now, in general, trial is a function of the product promise and how it's communicated, and therefore it's a function of marketing. Well, adoption is a function of how the product actually performs. We cover all this in brand health. The connection between that and new concept research is new product research is basically new concept testing and product testing. So, you first test the concept. If that is positive, you test the product. And therefore, you got an idea about overall will the new product succeed. But the first stage is to find out is my idea good enough that I should spend time and effort and money into developing the product. That is what the objective of concept testing is. Right? So when does a new concept succeed? So a new concept basically is a promise to the consumer saying, I will deliver so and so benefits through so and so technology in so and so fashion. That's what a new concept is. So new concept succeeds when this promise is relevant, when the promise is unique, when the promise is credible, when the promise is at a good price value proposition. I'll explain each of this. It is relevant. It's something the consumer sees value in. So it can fill an existing need gap. So is it relevant that I get a better mosquito repellent, just for example? For me personally, yes, it is relevant. I want a better mosquito repellent because I find that the mosquitoes in my home don't seem to be deterred or repelled by the mosquito repellent that I have today. They still come and bite me. Therefore, I want a better mosquito repellent. So if you got an idea for the new mosquito repellent, I'm prepared to listen to you. So it's relevant to me. So if a new concept has a large number of the target audience, a large proportion of the target audience saying it is relevant, that's good for them. Unique. You can't just say, listen, I've got a mosquito repellent. Yes, it's relevant. And if they ask you, what kind of mosquito repellent is? Oh, it's the same as anything else. Well, then why should I come to you? You can go to somebody else, right? So, it must be relevant and it must be unique, must be different from, what was already there in the market. Credible. The London idea that I gave, go there and see what is happening and then come back to wherever I am today. Is it relevant? Actually, yes. To be very honest, I would like to do it. Is it unique? Of course, yes. I've never seen anything like this. I've never even dreamt of anything like this. Is it credible? Do I deep down really believe it is possible? I don't believe it's possible. Right? So the promise has to be believable. Credible as in believable. Consumers should not say, yeah, they'll talk all that. Yeah, it's great if it happens, but it's not really going to happen. We don't want that kind of reaction. Now let us even assume that such a thing is possible. It should be affordable for me, right? It should make sense for me. It's going to cost me, $1,000 million for me. But the price value proposition doesn't exist. Or if we come back to the mosquito repellent that we talked about, if they say it is a new technology, therefore it's relevant, it's different from what is there in the market and therefore unique, and it's proven on some technology that insects don't like, so therefore it is credible, awesome. But it's going to cost you 25 times existing mosquito repellents. Well, that's not a good price value proposition. So there are 4 conditions for a new concept to succeed. It should be relevant, it should be unique, it should be credible, and it should come at a good price value proposition to the market. Not all concepts meet all the 4 criteria. Sometimes the concept is only a little bit different from other concepts. The improvement could be marginal, not really enough to call it unique, but it is better than what is existing. So let us also therefore reword unique as not just unique, but better. Alright? But is it relevant? It has to be relevant. If it is not relevant, it's never going to work. So ideally, it should be relevant, unique, credible, and good value proposition. But it's okay even if it is relevant, better, and not unique, better, credible, and offered at a reasonable price value proposition. So instead of unique, we are okay with better. Instead of good price value proposition, we are okay with reasonable. However, relevance is a must. Credible is a must. So these, ideally, these are the 4 conditions, but we are also okay with these 4 conditions. All right. So these are the kind of. So coming back to the study objective. So at the end of the day, the answer that I want, let's repeat this again and again in a concept test. Should I develop my new concept idea further? If I launch such a product, is it likely to succeed in the market? So I have an idea for a product. If I launch such a product, is it likely to succeed further? Is the question that I want answered by a concept test. And to answer that one question, we have to evaluate the new concept on relevance, on uniqueness, on credibility, and on price value proposition. Okay, so far? Concept is clear? The framework is clear? Let's go forward. So the kind of questions that we ask in a new concept study, expose the concept to the person and then say, tell me what's your first reaction. Sometimes people say, wow, it's awesome. Sometimes people say, wow, it's good. Sometimes people even say, so what? Yeah, I've seen this before, so what? We want to get that reaction. The spontaneous reaction is an extremely important part of it. What do they like about this? What do they dislike? How do they rate it on relevance, uniqueness, credibility, and reasons for an negative assessment on the like, dislike, or on each of this? And for each of this, we use 5-point scale. It's the same balanced scale with the midpoint that we have been seeing in multiple applications. Now here, this is a term that you need to get familiar with. Now, ITB is used everywhere in the market research industry. Intention to buy. It's used the same way by all market researchers pretty much all over the world, definitely in our country. Right, a 5-point scale saying, will you buy it if it comes to the market? Now, the way the question goes is, assuming the price is reasonable, will you buy it? If they say yes, then we'll ask them, how much are you prepared to pay for it? And then we can show them some 2-3 prices and say, supposing they launch it at 500 rupees, 100 rupees, 50 rupees, how likely are you to buy it? Right? So, ITB, the first time it is without price, second time it is with price. So the question is again quite short. Not too many questions. I've been stressing this all along. Right? Questions need to be short. Otherwise the respondent gets tired and bored and fatigued and doesn't really want to answer seriously. Okay, we'll go forward. So an important part of concept testing, a very important part of concept testing, is how do we explain the concept to the respondent. We don't want one person explaining it in one way, another person explaining that in another way. So we need something which we call a concept card, which is a description. And writing the concept card is an important stage in this process, and it's something which requires a lot of attention. The concept card should explain, but it should not persuade. It should not use words like bringing to you for the first time the only. No, all that is silly, all that is persuading. Concept card should say, we plan to do this, this is the technology, this is what you will get. Bland, boring. If somebody calls a concept card boring, I'm like, wow, that's a good concept card. If somebody calls a concept card saying, I just giving all the details, that's a good concept card. If somebody calls a concept card saying, wow, that was attractive, no, there's a bad concept card. We don't want a concept card to look attractive. right? It's explain the benefit clearly and rationally. It's given the reason why. I mean, why am I able to deliver what my concept is promising? I mean, I'm using a new technology or I'm using a different method of doing things, right? It can highlight why it is unique, but again, in very down-to-earth, boring language, not in bombastic, flamboyant language, right? So the concept card is a crucial part of a concept testing. Why should it not persuade or sell? Because if the concept itself is worded very positively, very sellingly, then the respondent may give a positive response. And that is a false positive. Which means your concept test will give us a much more positive result than what is really going to happen when the product or concept is launched in the market. We don't want a false negative. We don't want a false positive. We want a realistic assessment. But between false negative and false positive, it is better to be conservative. One duty that market researchers take very seriously is the duty to be conservative in our estimate of how well a new product is going to sell. Because the worst thing that will happen if we go wrong, I'm not saying that's a good thing to happen, it is a bad thing. But the worst thing that will happen is the fact that the company loses an opportunity cost. But on the other hand, if we give a false positive, we are not conservative, we are too optimistic. And somebody goes and spends a lot of money and effort behind the product and it bombs, then you're guilty of a much bigger mistake, which is wasting money, wasting time, and wasting effort. So a market researcher has a duty to be conservative in estimating how things are going to go, right? So all concept testing, product testing, demand estimation studies will necessarily give a conservative estimate, and we'll tell the brand manager that this is our estimate. It is unlikely to be worse than this. It is possible that it's better than this, but this is our best estimate. And yes, and we have been a little conservative in all predictions. Operationally speaking, the study can be done central location, respondent's home, office, online, face-to-face, phone, anything is fine. Operational details don't matter these days. It requires robust sample sizes. Large doesn't mean 5,000, 10,000, right? Even a sample size of 200 is quite robust. Statistically large, statistically robust is what we aim for, not big in conventional terms. Okay, so far, shall we go forward? So here is a hypothetical new concept. So Smith and Jones, again, completely hypothetical company, please, is a leading multinational organization from the US which has got a presence in more than 60 countries. So it's household care products like detergents, floor cleaners, dishwashing liquids, washing machine detergents, toilet cleaning products, pesticides, etc. And recently there was a scientist from some imaginary university called University of Bohemian. They developed a new technology which is used for repelling mosquitoes. So the scientist says, I've got a technology. He goes to the company and says, you have a manufacturing capacity, I have a technology, why don't we join hands? And you develop this product and sell it. And you give me share of the income, and that income is called royalty, because the idea and the technology comes from me. Right? But the company is doing the manufacturing and the marketing, so they get the lion's share of the income. Royalty fees goes to the person who thought of the idea. Now, what is this technology? It is completely chemical free. It emits an ultrasonic sound at a particular frequency which disturbs the airwaves for the radius of 13 feet or 15 feet or something. An extensive lab testing had already been carried out to confirm the absence of side effects on humans. Right? So this airwaves are disturbed, so the mosquito will not come. That is the concept. So the company says, hey, you've got a nice idea, sounds good, but I want to know if the market is interested in such a concept. I like your proposal for royalty fee. I like your proposal that I'm going to manufacture it and market it, and I give you a royalty fee. I like all that. I'm going to do all those things, only if I'm satisfied that there is enough demand for it. So first, I'm going to test out this concept in a tropical country like India where there are a lot of mosquitoes. Now, people say this concept is interesting is when I'll even develop a product prototype. So I want to test out the concept first. Right? So, even Smith and Jones agreed in principle to the contract. Prior to launching the product, decided to test the concept in one city in a tropical country with a significant mosquito menace. So Chennai or Bombay, all Indian cities qualify. We have a lot of mosquitoes all over the country. But that's not a problem. Right? Let's go forward. So this is the target group of the consumers. The lady of the house. Households belong to the socioeconomic class A. We have seen the socioeconomic class in NCCs. With the family size between 2 and 6, in the age group 20 to 50 years, this person 20 to 50 years. Quantitative exercise, sample size 300. What proportion finds the concept interesting? What price are they likely to pay for it? These are the key objectives of the study. Right? Go forward. So the concept card was developed, the concept card explain the technology, the benefits, how the product is different. The study would be done through face-to-face interviews. In upper middle income areas in the city, they found 10 starting points and the 10 interviews around each starting point. You remember the starting point thing. You remember this multi-stage cluster sample. Where you select different points in the city and you do 10 interviews around each point of the city. This is multi-stage cluster sampling. It's the best way to cover a city like Chennai. It's the best way to cover the city as a whole and do the interviews around each of the starting points. We've seen all this in the sampling section where we talk about multi-stage cluster sampling. Right? This is starting point. So refresh your memory. We'll go forward. This is a concept card. This is just an example that we have created here. A new kind of mosquito repellent. It works on thermal principle. Whatever that is, I have no clue. It works on battery or power. When switched on, it emits ultrasound waves which interfere with mosquitoes' ability to fly smoothly. The waves have this radius of 10 feet. It's at 30 feet there. Now this is conservative. 10 feet. Conservative is what we're talking about. So, hence can be effectively placed in the middle of a 15 by 15 room. So, 10 plus 10 plus side of 20 feet coverage. Harmless for humans, including small children. No radiation, no sound. Battery lasts for 8 hours. How is it different? It works on thermal principle. It develops ultrasound or ultrasonic waves. That's the difference. The benefit is the mosquitoes cannot fly smoothly, so they won't come there. So, the benefit is explained clearly. So, look at this concept. This is as boring as it gets. Forget the logic, it may be, technically it may be nonsense, right? It's only a hypothetical example. But it's as boring as it gets. Is there a single big word in it? No. Just a very matter of fact, boring description of something which is an idea in somebody's mind today. It's nothing more than that. The scientist knows that it is possible because he's a scientist. For the rest of the world, it is just an idea in somebody's mind today. There is no proof that it actually works. Right? Will you go forward? So these are the kind of questions that we ask. We show the concept card to the person. We ask them to read it, to the respondent, I mean. Then we say, can you see the description here? It's for the new product that's going to be launched for repelling mosquitoes. Please read and tell us which option best describes your opinion about this. I don't like it at all. I like it very much. 5-point scale, balanced. Why balance? 2 negative points, 2 positive points. And 5-point scale, balanced scale with a midpoint. Now, if they say 1 or 2, why, what you dislike? If they say 4 or 5, what you like? So basically, why? Right? The person can type in their answers here. Yes. Let's go forward. Now we come to the specific dimensions that we talked about, relevance, uniqueness, and so forth. To what extent is the benefit promised in this concept useful or relevant? We're not just going with the marketing word relevant, remember here. We're saying useful or relevant because some people may understand the common English word useful. They may not understand the word relevant so well. Is this benefit useful to you? So people can say it is not at all useful to me, all the way up to it is very useful to me. Again, the same 5-point scale. How different is this product area from others? We talked about uniqueness, but in the questionnaire, the term we're using is different. Uniqueness is a little bit of a marketing term. So how different is a product area? It is not at all unique and different. It's very unique and different. 1 to 5. Right? So we are, as I've stressed, I'm again stressing this point, using simple consumer speak, simple words in the questionnaire. Right? We're not using marketing jargon at all. Okay. Credibility. To what extent do you find the claim made believable and credible? I find it not at all believable. I find it very believable. 5-point scale. Right? And then, if you remember, we said intention to buy without price. Assuming this product comes to you at a reasonable price, how likely are you to buy it? I will definitely not buy this. I will definitely buy this. So what are we saying here? 4 measures: relevance, difference or uniqueness, credibility or believability, intention to buy without price. All of them measured with a simple 5-point scale. Very, very simple 5-point scale. Right? Shall we go forward? Again, we want a question on why. If the person gives a positive or negative, we want to know what is so positive which is pulling them or what is negative which is pushing them away. So why? Right? And to those who say they will buy, I'm talking about these people. To those who say that they will buy, we ask the next question: how much will you be prepared to pay for this? And the person can say, I'll be prepared to pay 500 or 300. Or he may answer like this, or he may say, I'm ready to spend 60 rupees a month. They can answer in any way they want. It's up to us to analyze the data. It is an open-ended question, but they can answer in any way they like. It's up to us to, go back and bucket it and make sense of the kind of responses that they're given. Okay, so first, should we go forward? So then, if you remember, we said the next question is ITB with price. So assuming this product comes to you at so and so price, now how likely are you to buy it? Right? Again, the same scale, but I will definitely not buy it. I will definitely buy it. Let me reiterate this. ITB, intention to buy, is understood the same way by all market researchers, and 90% of market researchers use a 5-point scale for this. Right? Now, an important part of analysis is the ITB after the price question. How is it different from the ITB without the price question? That tells us the extent to which the pricing is too much or too little. If ITB after price question is equal to ITB before the price question, it means the price is fine. But if ITB after price question is much lower than ITB before price question, it means the price is too high. So that's why we analyze the data that comes from the survey. And then finally, we can ask a few general questions, background questions. Currently, are you using mosquito coil or mat or liquid or whatever it is? Right? Okay, so okay with the questions? Right, let's go forward. So let's see some sample outputs that come from this. Concept, overall likability. I don't like it at all. I like it very much for the options. 3% don't like it, 84% like it, mean score 4.3, which is pretty good, right? Almost good enough to launch. At this stage, it says almost good enough to say yes. Let's go forward and see what the rest of the data supports a point of view of this. Relevance. 16% says not at all kind of thing I'm looking for. Relevance is a problem. Remember this hypothetical data, right? Why would relevance be a problem? Maybe the person has mosquito nets. Maybe the person lives in a community where there are no mosquitoes. Maybe the person has a thick skin. We don't know. But there's a why question, right? That will tell us that. At this point in time, what we know is that the concept scores poorly on relevance, which is a huge problem, which means you're going to pull it down quite a bit. Uniqueness. It's okay. Uniqueness is okay. Not good. Not bad. Right? 43% somewhat unique, but only 36% very unique, and 10% thing is not really very unique. Now, why would they say it's not unique? Have they come across such a technology before, or are they just confused? Remember, market research and brands is about perception. If the consumer thinks it is not unique, it is our job to tell him how it's unique. We can't go and tell the consumer, hey, you're wrong, you've never seen this anywhere before. No. Consumer's perception is what's going to drive our success or failure in the market. So, we have to take that perception as it is, and we have to see whether we have a communication task to make him understand, you think it is not unique, but it is unique. You've never seen this kind of technology before. We are doing it for the first time in the world. But that doesn't happen in the concept research, right? It happens in the marketing later. At this point in time, our takeout is, oh, when we talk about this concept, consumers seem to think it is not so unique. Well, we have to watch out for that, right? Credibility. Okay. Not good. Not bad. Intention to buy without price. In spite of relevance being low, fairly good. Right? Only 7% are saying they will not be interested. So quite low. Low negative. Decent positive. On the whole, fairly good. 4.2 is a fairly good number. It's not a great number. It's not a close your eyes and go ahead kind of number. It's a fairly good number. And then in the particular research study, we have given some price. The mean score is 4.4. IIT proposed price drops from reprice. It doesn't drop much, but 4.1 is a okay number. It's not a great number. So, based on all this, now we have to take a decision on the whole whether this is going to work. I don't have the open ended here. Sorry. On the whole, is this concept going to work? Likability is likability is good at 4.3. Relevance is very poor at 3.5. Intention to buy without price is 4.2. Intention to buy after price is 4.1. If I was the person who was making a recommendation based on this, I'll attach a lot of weightage to relevant and I'll say practice. I'll say it's not going to work. People are being polite and saying they'll work. The point is, if they don't think it's relevant, then you're offering something which consumers don't want. And if consumers don't want it, no amount of marketing is going to make them buy it. Therefore, I would say this concept has served its purpose. It has saved you some time and money of investing further time behind this particular product. Maybe this product will work in some other market. We have researched it in one market, in one country, and our indication is that it is unlikely to do well in this market, in this country. We are not in a position to talk about how it will work else anywhere in the world. Nor are we in a position to talk about will it have a market 5 years from now, 1 year from now. At this particular point in time, the data does not indicate that it is justified to spend further time and effort behind this concept. It's all we are saying, nothing more than that. Right? Is it clear? Can we close this chapter here? Okay, thank you.